Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off duration, woodscapes, and super deck products May 1st through the 11th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off duration, woodscapes, and super deck products May 1st through the 11th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Hey, I'm a medium, and this podcast is for those who wish to understand the wonderful world of spirit. Where do we go when we die? I'll share stories of mine as a medium and other mediums in our journeys, plus you will hear real-life client readings so that you can know without any doubt that your loved ones in spirit are around you all the time. I'm Jen, and this is the Singing Medium Podcast. All right, here we go. Episode 54. Can you believe it? That's like almost a whole year of straight podcast episodes, which I'm very impressed with myself. And that just reminds me, before I get into what I want to talk about today, I feel like it's just going to be like not all over the place, but it's going to be like whatever comes to me, whatever I feel like sharing, that's what I'm going to share. And I want to reiterate something that I have said in the past and that I have taught a lot of my students. So one of the things that I'm sort of known in my little community for saying is that if it's not a hell yes, don't do it. Okay? Now, I'm not saying I'm going back on that, because I strongly feel that your life will feel more full if you can choose experiences, partners, friends, jobs, careers, whatever it is, in the energy of your soul, which would be translating to the human term of hell yeses, rather than always choosing from I have to, I should, don't feel like it. But speaking of don't feel like it's part of being human. So what I've sort of not shifted, I guess, or changed my little bit mindset of my thing, my hell yeses, like if I always say, if it's not a hell yes, don't do it. That can get, like, I've noticed it can get a little bit, well, if I don't want to, like, if I'm just not every single thing. It doesn't apply to every single thing. And the reason why I say that, and I'm realizing this now, is that if you signed up for, an example would be, say you signed up for a course and you know it's every Thursday and you committed to it and whatever, and then say the fifth Thursday comes around and you're like, well, I'd rather have a bath, or, you know, I'd rather read a book or go to bed early, and, you know, it's not a hell yes for me right now, which is fine. But I've kind of shifted a little bit into, well, there's also something called discipline, right? And commitment. So I'm tossing around the idea that maybe not everything has to be a hell yes that you only do. Some things you require of you that you need to do, and some things that require discipline, which is like the podcast for me. So trust me, I don't always feel like recording the podcast. The podcast is not every Thursday night a hell yes for me. It's mostly a hell yes for me to put this out, because I love that you guys are listening, and I love that you keep telling me that you love the podcast, and it really matters to me. So this matters to me. But like, obviously I'm not going to be every Thursday night like, woohoo, 10 record. Like, I would rather be in the bath right now. I would, straight up, I would rather, you know, but I sort of like that feeling. It's like the gym, right? The discipline. Like, you don't always want to go to the gym, but if you have discipline, you can teach yourself that, and you can learn that sometimes you do things when you don't feel like it, because the reward is going to be greater than rather if you did something else, right? And sometimes we do need to have a bath and more than do this, and sometimes we do need to have go to bed early. But if you have something that you've committed to and you're consistent with it, and you want to be consistent, you're showing up for yourself, you know, it's it's really important that you also establish some discipline. Like, that's why I didn't go to the gym anymore. Like, I was going to the gym. I had a gym membership, but I was like, okay, I'm going to go every 3 times a week. And it's frustrating, number one, because you want to see results quickly, right? So maybe in that discipline, you find results more, or you find them quicker. Now, again, I am not an expert on discipline at all, because I also follow the rule of, if it's not a hell yes, I'm not going to do it. But I also really value in doing this podcast for like the past year. I see the value of it. So it does pay off after a while. And if you go to the gym consistently, it does pay off after a while. But if you don't go to the gym and you don't show up to the gym, you don't show up to your commitment, you're not going to get that muscle definition or that health goal that you're trying to achieve. Feel me? You feel me? So I just want to reiterate that, because I don't want you to, like, I know a lot of people like do really listen to what I say, and I just wanted to clarify that part. Yes. So like leaning towards more of the hell yeses, but also having discipline, if that makes sense. Okay. That's how I wanted to start this podcast. And trust me, there's been some growth, major growth. You've probably had a lot of growth over this past year as well. For me, it's the discipline thing. Like, oh, I don't feel like showing up, but yeah, whatever. But like, you kind of feel a little bit yucky if you don't show up, because consistency, you'll see the value over time, which I am seeing the value over time of this podcast. So there's that. Speaking of podcast, I changed my TikTok handle to the Singing Medium Podcast, because I haven't listened to her podcast, but there's a really cool girl on TikTok that I follow called the Psychic-ish Podcast. And I'm going to go listen to it because I haven't. But she made a comment on a couple of my videos that I did recently, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's that girl who does that Psychic-ish podcast. So go listen to her podcast. I've never listened to it, but she made a comment on my one of my videos I did this week. I was like, oh, that's really cool that there's more than, there's a lot of people out there who are showing up, who are talking about their gifts, who are talking about this world of things that you cannot see or understand, and I think it's really important that we're doing that, even though even though we are all tapped into sort of the future. But also, I think for me, being a psychic has helped, and this might not make any sense when I say this out loud, because my mind is like, what are you saying? You are always looking in the future. Like, as a psychic, I'm always seeing visions of the future. And if I go on TikTok, I'm in the rabbit hole of the future and what could be coming, and, conspiracy theory / and you can really get caught up in that. But ironically, it is teaching me to be more present, which is kind of like the idea is, as much as you can, to bring yourself back to that present moment. But I've talked about that, and other people have also, more famously than I, have spoken about the importance of being in that present moment. It does help you. And then, speaking of present moment, ... I don't want to keep saying that. There's an Office episode where Daryl gets in crap. If you watch The Office, Daryl gets in crap because he texted that girl in the warehouse, like ... And like Kelly's like, oh my God, Daryl, 4 dots. That's like too much. That means something. So I don't know why I keep saying that, but it's just coming to me. And so I just came out of ceremony again for maybe, I think this is my 5th ceremony. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about ayahuasca. And I have this thing like inside of me is like, don't be like what girl who is like talking about ayahuasca all the time, and there's some appropriation, I don't want to get into that. I'm just talking from personal experience. And there's some things that I was given, so there was some enlightenment that was uncovered or maybe recovered within me, my personal senses. And also there was 1 or 2 predictions, psychic information that I got, which I will share with you. I'm not sure how much I'm going to get into the personal aspects of my experience at this episode, but I am going to share what I feel called to for sure. All right, before I get into that, I know you're expecting some announcements or some news, but I don't really have a lot to share with you. You're listening to this on a Friday in December, so that means that I'm going to have available to you 10 spots for some more $99 year ahead emailed readings, where it's a personalized psychic forecast for your year of 2023. And I had one person email me, oh, I really wanted to know what was happening right now. And I was like, oh no, well, it's a year ahead. It's for next year. So just so you understand that, it's not a membership. It is an email reading broken into terms. So it goes from January to March, April to June, etc., etc. And I break down as much as I can. It is a little more general, but some people are getting very specific things. And it's very interesting that everyone's is different. And also you get a theme for next year. So some people's themes are openness. I'm trying to think of some of the themes. Loving yourself, these kind of things. So you also get a theme word or phrase that you can carry into 2023. So if you're listening to this on the Friday that this comes out, grab a spot. There's a link in the bio on Instagram, elevate.hersoul. And you can go and grab that, and it will be delivered before the new year, before January 1st. Promise. And if you're listening to this and you have not received if you're on the second wait, so there was like 50 readings I've said. So I'm almost finished the second wait list. So if you haven't got it yet, not to worry, you will get it. Hopefully by Monday. So not to worry if you see me posting more. It's not people are getting a little freaky about the delivery time. But even though I promise you will get it, I'm never not going to give you what I say I'm going to give you. Okay. Just so we know that. You guys know me by now. You're still going to get your email reading. I promise. It will all be delivered. And if you don't get it by like January 1st, it's in your spam. Just email me. It's all good. Okay? So let's move on to the ceremony portion. I'll give you a few things that I did uncover. And there was some...
The Fall Line is a true crime podcast covering the coldest cases in the southeastern United States and occasionally beyond. We focus on the missing persons, the unsolved murders, and the unidentified does that don't get media attention. Empathetic and intensively researched, The Fall Line will take you on deep dives into unsolved cases that you've never heard of and make you wonder why you haven't. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is Mike Bolo of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps where people listen to podcasts.
Healing. If you ever have done ayahuasca, you understand what I'm talking about. If you have never done ayahuasca, you will have no idea what I'm talking about. You will only be able to understand it from story perspective, like someone telling you, a storyteller's perspective. The best way to understand ayahuasca and the things I'm describing to you is to have actually experienced it. And it's not that one person is better than the other because you have not. My rule, my rule, but the idea is this is a consciousness. And if it's not calling to you, do not sit with ayahuasca. You must wait until it all lines up, and it's a really good idea to wait until it is calling you. That's how you'll know. You'll be really pulled towards it. Okay, it's not for everyone. It's my personal choice to sit with that plant, and I did it again. Oops, I did. Oh my gosh. Okay, apparently Spirit wants me to talk about this Britney Spears thing before I get into ceremony. Britney Spears. So that's going back again to TikTok, right? One of the videos I did this week was some predictions that I got, and one of them was not really a prediction, it's like a feeling. And I try to be careful not to pick up the energy of TikTok because sometimes I'll share a prediction and I don't know it's already been out there. 100% I don't know. And people are like, oh, someone already told you that, or someone already said. I'm like, I did not see this. This is the timing it has come to me where Spirit's like, you need to share this now. And so I do, and I wait till I'm pretty confident in my knowing to share it. But this thing came up about Britney Spears, about her either being passed on and she has a replacement Britney, or she's I can't remember if I just said she was passed or not. She's passed. Or someone said, I said cloning, but then someone was like, you can't clone a person who's already a person. It has to be like a baby. So I don't know how that works. I do know there are celebrities who have been cloned for sure. So it could be like a clone stand-in. So someone who looks like them, talks like them. Anyways, if you go on TikTok, it's dangerous to go on there, man. You just get sucked right in this horrible rabbit hole. And sometimes you feel crappy in there. So I always have to be mindful and pull myself out. I can tell when I'm like getting sinkier and sinkier into this space. But I do like to interact with people on there for the most part. A lot of people, it's actually getting a lot more positive with my posts. So that's great. But anyways, there's this theory going around that she's no longer with us. But everyone has their own feelings about that. But Spirit wanted me to mention that. And people were up in arms. Not as much as they were about Beyonce. When I was talking about Beyonce prediction, they were really mad about the bee. Queen Bee they were mad at me. The Britney fans are okay with it because I think now everyone's talking about this. However, I think that's all I wanted to talk about that. But okay, so I can kind of see where Spirit's going with this. So how do I share this? Okay, I want to talk about wormholes. So I'm not sure what I have entitled this episode yet because I don't have a title for it until I'm done uploading it and just seeing sort of what I've talked about in a summary situation here. But I can kind of see what's going on now. So at the end of ceremony, I'll start with that. At the end of ceremony, so Sunday morning, I was sitting, it's like a little sunroom when you go upstairs. So I went upstairs to make some tea and have some toast or whatever, sitting in a chair that looks out into nature. And I'm sitting there and I closed my eyes because I had a little bit of dissociation, which is sort of like you're there, but you're not really there, you know? You can tell when you have dissociation because it's like your soul has a trauma and it leaves your body a little bit so that it's just too much for the soul to stay in this traumatized body. So it wasn't full dissociation, but it was like maybe half an hour of that. And luckily Spirit told me it was only going to be short-lived. It was only be 30 minutes or so, which it was. But in that 30 minutes of state, by myself, sitting upstairs, I thought that my friend who had come with me, who was still downstairs sleeping on the mat, had come up and sat on a couch in the room behind me. Like I even heard her do this. Like that. And I had the feeling of her being like, I don't want to disturb Jen because maybe she's meditating. So I'm just going to sit here and wait and see what happens. And then when I heard the sigh, I stood out of the chair and I turned around and she wasn't in the room. But it was so real that you know when someone walks in the room when you're not paying attention and you feel someone's presence in there, the whole thing, the sensation of someone being in the room, the audible sound of sighing, the temperature change in the room, and like I felt like she was in there trying not to disturb me, which she would do that. So when I turned around, I was like, what? She's not even here? Like she wasn't in the room. So I'm seeing this a lot, even in my day-to-day routine, in my day-to-day life when I go out. So it happened again this week too. Where was I? Was I in Walmart, of all places? I can't think of where I was, but my son's girlfriend is visiting from the States. And we all went to get our nails done, but we went to Walmart or something after that, or Winners, or one of those stores. And I remember, so she has long, dark hair, like beautiful, long, dark hair. And she was there for a minute, and then I wandered off, and then I looked up, and a different version of his girlfriend was in front of me, but like, she was a little bit heavier, same color hair, like, and I thought it was her, but it was like the weirdest feeling. I was like, what is going on? Like, speaking of cloning can have an energetic, like a doppelganger energy to it. You know, people have told me a million times, Jen, there is someone who looks just like you, or do you work in Alliston? Because, I saw, and I'm like, no, I live in Beaverton. Like, what are you talking about? But they see people who look just like me. So when you see someone who looks like someone that you know, that's usually called a doppelganger. So it's a form of this that's happening right now with the cloning energy, but not actual cloning from like a lab. So this has happened to me a few times where I've seen people who like and it's like a different version of them, but they're not really there. So that was twice this week. And I was lucky to have an experience like after, like on Sunday morning. I don't know if it was before this happened when I thought my friend was upstairs and she really wasn't. And even through the ceremony too, like I thought the shaman was standing beside me, but really when I looked up, she was like way across the room or upstairs, or like even my friend who was with me said, oh, I heard you leave the room a couple times. I'm like, I didn't leave the room. What are you talking about? I stayed on the bed the whole time. Like I didn't go upstairs. She's like, what? So it's like versions of our soul. Like that doesn't even make any sense. We only have one soul. It's like different versions of us. Like I'm telling you, I blame CERN. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but once they turn CERN on, that CERN Hydro Collider thing in Sweden, where they're opening portals, and there's a theory that they've put us in a whole other dimension or reality, which makes total sense because everyone feels like there's different versions of them walking around this plane when normally there's different versions of you in other dimensions. And as I just said that, my lights flickered. So that usually means that Spirit is telling me I'm saying the right thing properly. So at Sunday morning, I had my eyes closed and it was the weirdest thing. So I want you to imagine, close your eyes for a second and imagine, like, do you remember when you were a kid and you would play with bubbles, but like the big wand, like you'd put the big wand in, it would make like a tunnel of bubbles. Like not the small ones where you go when you blow the little bubbles. I'm talking ones that are attached. That big wand that you would get from the dollar store, and then the whole bunch of like this wormy looking bubble would come very elongated, and it would go in the air, and it was, So closing my eyes, I had this experience of like, and I knew it was a wormhole. So I don't even know what a wormhole definition would look like, but I'm going to look it up in a second. But first I want to walk you through my experience. So I was in this wormhole. So imagine that big long caterpillar / bubble wand, but with all the bubbles that are in the air. And I took on the shape of this bubble. So imagine like a bunch of ovals, very, 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 very close, smushed together. And I was like, not this form. I was a different form, but I was the form of these bubbles, like a long, long, long big bubble, about 100 of me, sort of more transparent. As so say there's like 20 gens in this wormhole / long bubble going horizontal. Every version of me was more transparent as it got to say 20 gen number 20. And what happened was this vision of me and 20 of me in this bubble ran around the room, and I went in a big circle and came back to myself. And that's when I got out of the dissociative state. Now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, you were dissociative and dissociation, and it was probably your imagination, or it's probably the medicine. No. If you, I mean, and again, TikTok is a horrible source, but if you watch a lot of TikTok videos, they talk about CERN, and they talk about, there was this little kid, Max, he disappeared because he was a genius and he knew what was going on with CERN, but he was like onto them, what they were doing. There's stories about them doing all this crazy stuff. But I knew when CERN turned on, something was going to happen, like something weird. And like, I need you to pay attention to, like, if you see people who look like someone else a lot, different versions of people, or people coming up to you and saying, oh, I thought I saw you here, but no, I wasn't there. Like even it could be as simple as like coming down the stairs, I heard one of my family members' voices, and like, oh, that wasn't me, right? And even like I said to my friend on the weekend, I'm like, how many times do you go to the bathroom? And she's like, I didn't go to the bathroom at all.
This is Mike Bolo of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps where people listen to podcasts.
And I'm like, I swear you went to the bathroom. So this happened again in yoga on Monday, I believe. So I went to yoga on Monday. And my favorite instructor that I have, she moves around and adjusts you. And that's not normal what they normally do, but she does. And she was like going to like Shavasana. She was pushing our shoulders down or whatever and just sort of like making us relax more, I guess. And I thought she was standing behind me. And I thought she was giving me Reiki. Like I thought she was standing at my head, beaming Reiki at my head. And it was so strong. I was like, whoa, what are you? I was like, what are you doing? I didn't know you did Reiki. I don't even know if she does Reiki. And then I opened my eyes and she was not there. She was with somebody else. And then she came to me last. And I was like, what just like the weirdest. So imagine we're all in this wormhole. Okay. We're all in this wormhole. There's different versions of us. So think about different versions of us as like being as simple as there's, you who goes to work, and there's you who comes home. There's you who is in front of this friend, and there's you who talks to this friend. Like we feel like we have to adjust our personalities or the way we show our faces or the way we talk in different environments, right? So that's a version of like being in a wormhole because you're trapped in this. Like I gotta be this person I gotta be this Sarah here and this Sarah at home and this, and that is a simple way to sort of explain what's kind of going on. But this is otherworldly. This is something else. This is like something has been turned on, or we're more aware of the dimensions. We're just like, maybe we're acting different. Maybe we feel like a different version of ourselves. So pay attention to these little, you may not see people as being somewhere else or doppelgangers, or you might not be feeling someone standing there and they're not there. You might not have any of this, but I'm telling you, this is something that has been happening since CERN. And I still get so irked because I remember when they turned CERN on, I did a little Instagram live, and I think I posted it. I switched it to TikTok, and someone on TikTok was like, calm down, they just turned on one. I was like, what? Like people like to be in denial about a lot of things, probably because they can't handle it. Probably because it's too much trauma. It's just too much trauma for some people. That's fine. It doesn't take away the fact from it's still happening though. Okay, so while I was waiting for this part of the first part to save on my computer, I was Googling wormholes. Okay, and I was right about it. So, well, from a Jen perspective anyways, from a psychic perspective. So I just found an article, quantamagazine.org. It says physicists create a holographic wormhole using a quantum computer. Okay. Scientists, here's 7 days ago. So, yeah, see? Scientists simulate baby wormhole without rupturing space and time. I don't believe about that. I don't believe that one for a second. So basically, a wormhole is a structure connecting disparate points in space-time and is based on a special solution of the Einstein field equations. A wormhole can be visualized as a tunnel with two ends at separate points in space-time. Yeah, basically what do wormholes exist? They're shortcuts in space-time, popular with science fiction. They've never been seen, but according to Einstein's general theory of relativity, they might exist. No, they do exist. They're lying. They're wormholes, 100%. So, an Italian researcher said there could be a wormhole lurking in the center of the Milky Way, 27,000 light years away. Yeah, so ordinarily, a wormhole would need some exotic matter to keep it open, but researchers believe dark matter might be doing the job. Okay, so it was like a tunnel. So that bubble tunnel that I was showing, it was like a tunnel. It's a better description. But it was shaped like long, elongated bubbles kind of thing. So I 100% believe that wormholes do exist and that I experienced one. Now, you hear people talking of the spiritual community talking a lot about quantum leaping, quantum jumping, quantum physics, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, all these 100%. I experienced this, okay? Now, remember I talked about before how the plan for this new world stuff was supposed to go down in 2030. And now it's starting to come down sooner. Like they're like, okay, we got to push this like this year. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Give us time to prepare and fight, why don't you? So, but I think one of the reasons why, energetically, why this has happened is because we are all quantum jumping. We are all trying to do quantum jumping meditations. We have brought this on sooner. There is also, like with the dark matter energy that I just read about, I know that there's been articles about CERN, how they've discovered dark matter, and they're afraid of what they pulled through these tunnels or whatever they're doing. They were trying to, there was all these entities coming in. So if you're having more of a harder time energetically, like managing your energy, having nightmares, these kind of things, you can blame CERN on that. And yeah, it's just my mind is like going a mile a minute right now, because I was like, it 100% exists. And if Einstein says it, it's probably good to go, right? Like, it's just, there's a lot that we don't understand. But my take on this is that if you experience it, it exists. So like people have a hard time being like, well, was that my imagination? Luckily for me, I have done enough training and like work in the spiritual realms every day, doing readings and that kind of thing, connecting. And I just believe that if you experience it, happens, and that you're not making anything up. But I can't convince you of that. I can't tell you how many people approach me or message me and say, oh, I think I'm just making it up. I feel like I'm crazy. If you experience it, it's real. Like even a dream. People are telling me their dreams. I would write your dreams down, and I've given you this advice before, but a lot of people are dreaming about the future, and they're coming to me, but like, is this real? Like someone had a dream about zombies and asked me about the dream. I'm like, 100% that is going to happen. And then you've guys seen that there's a zombie virus that they have unfrozen. Like, really? Do you think they're really going to keep those to themselves? Really? You really think they're not going to let that go? So just keep that in mind. And I think part of your process for those listening who aren't maybe there yet is that 100% you are not crazy. 100% you are experiencing things, but maybe just your logic mind is like, no, that was just a dream. So you don't freak out. It could be some kind of spiritual protection for you, so you don't go think that you're crazy and, but 100% these things are happening to you. Now, obviously there are some mental health issues that are in the world, and some people experience that. So if you're not sure, it's always good to talk to someone who's professional, but if you're very tuned in and you've got the training, 100% it's happening to you. I had the knowing with this wormhole. Like I knew what it was, and I didn't even know what a wormhole was. I'm sitting there, I'm in a, like my mind's like, I'm in a wormhole. Like that's a first for me. Like I can astral travel. 2 people this week have told me that I've been in their dreams. So I fly around the universe apparently at nighttime. This is a whole other ball game, this wormhole, because scientists are saying we don't even know if it exists. And I'm like, you're full of crap. You're simulating it. You just know it is. I'm sure the CIA or the government knows about the wormholes, okay? But for some reason, I was in it. It could have just been showing me different versions of myself. Sometimes when if you have a decision that you need to make, and the decision that you don't make, there's a different reality that is created quantumly or energetically somehow that exists in one of these light years or dimensions and plays out on its own, So anything is possible, I believe. I feel like anything is possible. 100%, no doubt, anything is possible. So that is interesting. For sure. Like, I don't know any podcast that I don't know, talk about wormholes. I think it's fascinating. And again, I'm not a science kind of person, so I can only give you articles to read. Like, I just knew that I was in one. And it makes sense because when you say you have a shift in your energy, which I did over the weekend, that would make sense for me to shift my energy. I shifted into a wormhole. And it was very short-lived, and I came back. But as soon as I came out of the wormhole, ironically, I was feeling a lot better and more present in my body. So I don't know if that was my soul, my energy, my bioessence, I don't know. I told you I don't know everything, and I say that proudly. And I stand firmly behind that I don't know everything. And we only know what we know when we know it, right? But my strong claircognizant was like, nope, that's what you did. That just happened. I'm like, okay, that was cool. So I'll give you a little bit more insight into my experience, because I feel like a lot of people are very fascinated by the plant medicine, by stories of it, they always say that ayahuasca is like 10 years of therapy in 2 nights. And yes, that is a little bit true. It doesn't take away from doing therapy if you need to do that. It is a tricky little thing, because you're shown so many truths about yourself, and depending on what your intention is and what ayahuasca wants to show you, respectfully, you can learn a lot of things about yourself and then come out of there a different version of you than the version that went in. And I think that's probably what happened with me, because I kind of went to like cocoon. I'm a little caterpillar, and I went to cocoon and then like rested all weekend and had myself in blankets for hours upon hours and all night and healing and this kind of thing, and then come out sort of like a butterfly. So, that transformation is also happening on a scale somewhere within us. And again, it's not for everyone, but it is, for me, a very powerful medicine and speaking of medicines, one of the things that she did tell me, the consciousness ayahuasca did tell me, was that you are the medicine. So you don't need to go and do ayahuasca. You don't need to go outside of yourself for anything healing-wise to understand yourself on a different level to achieve a different consciousness. You don't need to go chase medicine. You can choose to sit with it, but ultimately you are the medicine. So everything that you're looking and using outside of yourself, you don't really need fully on a beautiful truth serum scale. You just need you. You need to do the work inside of you. And I'll go again. There's a couple things I got about these kind of truths. So you are the medicine. So you can say, I am the medicine. Maybe I don't need ayahuasca. I am the medicine, right? So then obviously I get songs. Songs are very powerful. They just hang in the air, So in the second night I heard Madonna, open your heart to me, baby, I hold the lock and you hold the key. But Spirit changed the words. I am the lock and I am the key. So I really want you to, I'm going to repeat that. I want you to close your eyes and feel this in your body, this resonance. I am the lock and I am the key. So this song probably pertains to like a boyfriend, girlfriend kind of thing, where like, oh, you complete me, and like, I can't open my heart because it's locked up, but this person is the only one that can fix me, and all this crap that we grow up thinking, right? But ultimately, when you do this work and you sink deeper and deeper into knowing who you are, you remember that you are the lock and the key. So an example would be, oh, I feel stuck. Why am I stuck? Why am I blocked? And then you go looking outside of you for things to you think they're going to unstick you. So maybe you go get a coach. Maybe you get a mentor. Maybe you go to therapy. Maybe you go get a boyfriend. You think they're going to save your heart or open your heart. The only thing that can do this is you. It's like ultimately up to you. And some people are still stuck in that mindset where we need someone else to save us or get us unstuck, or it never, if you think about it, it never ever works out that way, does it? It's never ever been like, oh, that person, was the key to my soul, and it never works out that way. So that's one of the things that I heard, is that I am the lock and I am the key. So you might need, like, I'm still integrating that one, but I kind of see where Spirit is going with that. You don't need anything outside of yourself. And people say that it's annoying when you hear it, but ultimately, if you can do the work and dig pretty deep and be like, oh my God, I am the lock. And here's another one. I was like, what the bleep is this? So I'm going to end with this one. I know you guys are asking for longer episodes, but I'm going to end here. That feels complete after I tell you this one more. So, wait, are you ready for this? So then I don't even know if this was the first or second. I think it was the first night. So you know how we talk about the Matrix and everyone's trying to escape the Matrix? And we're in a computer simulation, like this AI stuff going on, where this trend where you create your selfies of AI from this $5.99 app. And for me, that doesn't resonate with me, because basically to me, that's like admitting I'm part of the computer simulation, even though I am. I don't choose to participate in that. It doesn't feel good to me, and you can do whatever you like and go ahead and make your AI stuff. But there is an agenda obviously under there somewhere. There's always an agenda with something, right? So we're always trying to escape the matrix. But I got this. I heard in my head, you can never escape the matrix because the matrix lives inside of you. And I was like, what are you talking about? But when I heard it, I was like it was dark. I was like, holy, like I wanted to yell, holy crap. And my eyeballs got really big. And at the time, I understood it. But now I'm sitting here like post 4 days after ceremony. I was like, kind of like, huh? But again, it goes to the fact that we're always looking to escape ourselves. Right? We're always trying to escape ourselves. Maybe we don't like something about ourselves, or we're trying to escape the past, or all of it is a program. All of it is part of the matrix, the simulation computer that we're in. You know, there's programs inside of us, right? So programs inside of us is computer energy of like computer programs. We're all installed. We come here with programs and things, and then we spend the last half of our life on trying to disassemble or delete these programs, you know? So I know it's a little bit weird and I'm not quite clear in what it means, but all I know is that the matrix lives inside of you and you can never escape yourself. So ideally, what would be best would be to go within yourself. Like when you go in trying to change your beliefs or change your money story, those are programs that are running like a DOS or whatever you call it, iOS, inside of you at all times. And you're trying to, even like a virus. Think of it. If you get a virus, there's a virus living inside of you. And all of this is like symbolic and like the same conversations you have about computers. Like I'm just talking it out right now. My brain is like really fuzzy. But it's complicated. But if you can figure it out, let me know. But I think it has something to do with the same words that we use when you play a video game. You know, there's all these little signs that perhaps we are in. I think there's an interview somewhere with Elon Musk about, are we in a computer simulation? I don't know what he says or answers, but like, it's just getting weirder. So anyways, you can never escape the matrix because it's inside of you. So if you can figure that one out, let me know. But all I know is that when I get these, even when people say downloads, I got a download today. Like, duh, you're a computer. Like, you're the matrix, you're the computer. So how does that work, you know? Anyways, I could go on and on, but my brain hurts too much and I did not have a nap today. So I'm going to end it there. I'll leave you with that little weird thing to try to integrate yourself. Integration is like what you do after ayahuasca. It's like, so the before part is you do a dieta and you have to change your diet so you can absorb the medicine best and accept it of the highest vibration. And then at the end, you go through ceremony. Then at the end, you have integration, which could last up to years. And that's why I didn't share a lot, because I'm still in that process. It's only been 4 days. And there's like, I have notes upon notes about, I could talk about my past lives that I realized. I could talk about the healing I went through, how I found out what happened to my hair, what's the energy reason for my hair falling out. Like, you know, just so much. There's too much to process. So I just said process. Do you hear that? You have to process. Like a computer processes things. All right, I gotta go because I'm getting a headache talking about this. But thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I appreciate you as always. I gotta go because I gotta finish the last 15 year ahead readings so I can launch them tomorrow and have a new list going. And I will see you guys all next time on the Singing Medium podcast.
This is Mike Boilo of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps where people listen to podcasts.